A True Prince by Kairia'sYami. Chapter 9. Can you feel the love tonight? Jasmine has spent her whole life treated as an object. She taught herself to strategize. She watched her father rule as sultan and learned from his example. And she has no shame in admitting that she knows she's intelligent. But because she was born female, because somehow not being male makes her lesser than others, Jasmine has never even been considered as the next ruler of Agrabah. Any idea she proposes to her father is dismissed, and she is locked away in the palace due to her father's fear for her safety. There is no option of learning how to defend herself or how to use a weapon. Because she is a female, she is locked away like a prize to be won by the most powerful suitor. She has been biding her time for years, watching the guards' shifts and earning sympathy from some of the lesser guards. With the help of her best friend and maidservant Dahlia, Jasmine manages to sneak out of the palace, wanting to see her kingdom, to meet her people, to live, even if just for a day, like all the others in her kingdom. It is beautiful, of course, but it is also terribly sad. She sees young children starving on the street, and it makes her so mad. She is trying to help one of these children get some food, when her lack of knowledge about the rules of common society comes back to bite her, and she almost loses her hand, if not for him. He is rugged, but handsome, with tousled dark hair and mischievous eyes. He expertly tricks the merchant she had accidentally angered, and pulls her away from the crowd. He seems to know the city like the back of his hand, as he weaves around people and through alleyways. He introduces himself as Al, and she calls herself Dahlia, so that he doesn't realize she's the princess. She doesn't want to be treated differently, nor does she want him to turn her in for sneaking out. When he offers to show her around, she is excited, because despite this being her city, she has never seen any of it before today. To get to see Agrabah from this angle, this close, with the help of a native, it is like a dream come true. And it doesn't help that my guide is pretty cute, she can't help but think. Jasmine spends the day with Al, and she finds herself liking him so much more than she has liked any of the prospective suitors that come to visit. Too bad he isn't a prince. He is kind and genuine and very funny. He doesn't treat her differently, or as if he were above her because of his gender. When she speaks about her love for her city, and how she wishes she could change things, and explains how she would do so, he doesn't dismiss her. He listens, and seems genuinely interested in what she says and thinks. At the end of the day, when he leads her to the palace gates, and for a moment she thinks she was found out, she is so very sad that she'll probably never see this kind man again. If she does, he'll probably treat her differently now. Instead, she once more manages to hide her status as the princess, and hurries away with a flustered excuse. When she tells Dahlia all that happens, she laughs at Jasmine's awkwardness and teases her about Al. Jasmine hopes she can see him again. When she sneaks out again the next day, she does her best to hope not to see Al again. She doesn't want her hopes to be crushed if they don't run into each other again. Yet, she can't help but feel a swell of joy when he's right there to continue their tour. The next few days pass in a blur of happiness, and Jasmine finds her mourning the laws that forbid a princess from marrying a commoner. While she can't say she's in love with Al, not yet, she can certainly see herself spending her life with him, whether as friends or as something more. But, well, that's not going to happen, unfortunately. It can't. The day before her life changes, she is spending her free time with Al. He is telling her of a hidden oasis he wants to show her, when a voice interrupts them. "Aladdin Ali! Do you realize how much trouble you are in?" For the moment dismissing the shout. For Aladdin Ali is the name of the Prince of Deusbara, and she's never met him. She soon begins to pay attention when Al responds to the shouter. "Hey, boo! How's it going?" He sounds unconcerned, but she doesn't know how. He is being addressed as a prince, yet he's acting like it is normal. "Don't you hey me! You are a prince! You can't just run off on a whim! Haim was livid. I thought for sure he was going to have a heart attack, he was so mad." The boy, who stands barely at her height, seems to be trying to contain his laughter, but Jasmine can't bring herself to care enough to think about why. Prince? But Al isn't a prince. He can't be. But then why would this boy be calling him such? The man standing just behind the boy speaks up now, still glaring at everything but Al. "Your Highness, while Zafar would like to compliment your sense of initiative, he asks that you refrain from travelling to a different country without warning and without some kind of guard to protect you." "Yeah, sorry about..." There is more conversation, and she listens to it, growing slowly angry as the strange people begin to talk about wooing the princess as though it were some game. But mostly she swims in confusion and denial. She doesn't want the one person she has come to rely on to believe in her to have been lying to her. But she can't see any other outcome of this conversation. She is burning with confusion and anger by the time Aladdin, finally turns to her. But before he can get out more than a few words, the boy, who is small and thin and lacks any sort of muscle, picks up Al with ease and carries him away like a sack of flour. Judging from Al's shocked look, he was not expecting it either. Before she can muster up the brain power to do anything, Al is gone, and she finds herself alone. In a daze, she decides to head back to the palace, not wanting to try and explore on her own. "I think I need a nap." The rest of the day passed in a haze. Jasmine pays little mind to her father's declaration that another prince will be visiting around midday. It will likely be another oafish suitor with no respect for her or her country. Instead, she studies until it is time to meet the delegation, hoping to get her mind off Al and his possible deception. She regrets her inaction, however, when she nearly trips upon seeing Al. Aladdin Ali, peasant prince of Deusbara, standing before her father. He is dressed up in silky cream-coloured clothes with gold jewellery, and she wars against herself. Part of her is thinking, "Wow, he really cleans up nice. I thought he was handsome before." Another part rages that he lied to me. He was probably stringing me along. How could I be so stupid? While a third muses, he does look shocked. Maybe he didn't realise? I should give him the benefit of the doubt. By the time she manages to shove her conflicted feelings into a box to examine later, her father is asking if Aladdin, intends to court Jasmine. The bitter part of her twists and rises up. Here it is. He'll say yes, that he wants to win me over, and it'll prove his whole Al persona was a facade. Instead, she is shocked when he looks at her and addresses her directly, rather than ignoring her presence.
"No. While I can admit that you are magnificent, Princess, I do not think of you as a commodity, or a prize to be won. I would be honoured if I could get to know you, but I do not expect anything from you. I swear."
As he bows, she can almost feel the tears well up in her eyes, as she begins to hope against hope. But she manages to hide them away. His smile makes it hard to keep her yearning hidden. Her father laughs and invites the prince and his entourage to lunch. She wishes she could drag Aladdin away so that she can get answers from him, but she resigns herself to waiting. It wouldn't do to have explained to her father that she had been sneaking out. She'd never be able to go anywhere ever again if he knew. Just you wait, Aladdin. I'm getting my answers. You can count on that. That night, Jasmine waits on her balcony, expecting Aladdin to arrive any minute. He had sent a note with his small manservant, the same one who had carried him away the day before, saying he would come to explain things that night. But if she has to wait even 5 minutes more, she's going looking for him, note or no. Before she can do anything drastic, Aladdin appears in front of her, and she jolts backwards in alarm. What the? How are you doing that? Where did you come from? He was floating before her balcony, and he seemed clueless as to why she was so alarmed.
I'm using carpet, of course. I promised to have the servants give him a nice deep clean if he let me use him to get here, so I wouldn't get in trouble for visiting your room in the middle of the night. Sorry for the surprise.
Placing a hand on her chest to try and calm her racing heart, she moves closer and peers down, and sure enough, Aladdin is standing on a flying carpet. As she watches, one of the golden tassels on the corners waves at her, and she faintly waves back. She jumps when Aladdin spoke again.
So, I was wondering if I could come in. I'd like to talk to you.
She nods and steps back to let him land. She leads him to the table she had asked Dahlia to set up for her, with some snacks and drinks. She expected this to be a long talk. So, you're a prince, huh? She asks, watching his face for any signs of deception.
He grins. So you're a princess,
he asks in return, and she laughs because, well, yeah, that's fair.
You go first. I imagine my explanation will take longer.
She nods, and that's probably true, and does her best to explain. I felt trapped in the palace. My father never lets me out, and I wanted to see my people. I have one purpose as a princess, and that is to be a pretty face for the Sultan to show about. I want to be more than that. I want... She stops and looks down. She's never said it out loud to anyone other than Dahlia, her oldest and dearest friend. And even Dahlia hadn't believed it could ever happen.
You want to become Sultan, right?
Shocked, she looks back at Aladdin. He is smiling at her, yet it is not a mocking smile. He seems to understand, like he knows what she means, and does not judge her for it.
You look at your country, how beautiful it is, and can't help but think, I could do better. I can make it gorgeous. There is so much I can do, if someone just let me. Right?
She nods, stunned that there is someone who understands her so well. How?
How do I know? I felt the same way. You know how I was not raised as a prince?
She nods, for the search of the missing prince of Deusbara was legendary, and the whole continent heard when he was finally found.
I lived as a commoner for most of my life, and I have so many memories of thinking, if I only had power, I could make things better. I would never let anybody else skip a meal to feed their siblings, or have to sell their body to get by. I saw it way too often as a child, and I wanted to stop it. And now, I have the power, but I don't yet have the knowledge to fully help all those I want to. You're the opposite. You have the knowledge and the drive, but you lack the power. I think that's wrong. You'd be an amazing sultana.
When he smiles at her again, it is a beaming and so full of trust and belief that Jasmine can feel herself tear up. Never, never in all her life has she felt so understood and believed in, and it is by a man whom she has known for less than a week. Letting her regain her composure, Aladdin continues speaking.
I knew that my advisors would be sending me to Agrabah soon, since you are close allies with us, and I wanted to get to know the kingdom better before being introduced. So I snuck away to come to Agrabah as a commoner, so I could see the true parts of the kingdom, rather than the gilded world of the court. And then I met you, Dahlia, and you were magnificent. So, rather than returning to my kingdom and letting my advisors send me here officially, I decided to stay until I had to leave. He ducks his head and blushes. I wanted to spend more time with you.
She blushes as well at his words, and she can feel any anger she felt toward him melt away. He had not meant to deceive, and he wasn't angry at her for doing the same thing. They were on even ground. They sat together in silence for several minutes, for Aladdin interrupted the quiet.
I was thinking. I know you got to see a lot of Agrabah when I was showing it to you, but there's one view you haven't got. Do you want to see?
Recalling the joy that she had felt while seeing her city, she all but leaps to her feet in excitement. Yes! Of course! I would love to! He grins at her excitement and walks back over to the carpet, which had been lounging on the edge of the balcony while they had talked. He steps onto the magical object and turns to her with his hand held out. She didn't hesitate to take his hand and step onto the carpet.
Do you trust me?
Yes. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, I'm loving this. The chemistry is freaking gorgeous. And they're being as honest with each other as they can be without Aladdin telling her about the wish, because that's not something you open the door with, because she'll think you're freaking mad. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and albino pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.